Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, January 15th with news from Arkansas. I think we continue today with talk of taxes. Asa Hutchinson's at the Municipal League. He's talking about rounding up support for his income tax cut. I don't think it'll be too hard for him to pass this bill. For one thing, he's made a significant change that he's not advertising too strongly, and that is he's putting off a tax cut that was scheduled for this tax year at the top income tax bracket in a bill passed by Charlie Collins. He doesn't think, apparently, the state can afford that this year, but there'll be a much bigger cut than planned next year for middle income taxpayers. Another thing that Hutchinson's not emphasizing is that his bill offers no tax relief for the poorest people in Arkansas, people making less than $21,000 a year. Before you discount this as a small group of good-for-nothings, this is fully 40% of the tax-paying population of Arkansas will get no benefits from this bill, while about 50% will. That's a strange set of priorities, it seems to me. Particularly, there's some interesting reading today on our blog from the New York Times on a new economic tax report on the impact of taxation in the various states. The poorer state is, the more regressive its taxes tend to be, and poor people tend to pay more of a percentage of their income on taxes than rich people do. Arkansas is not among the bottom 10, but it doesn't do very well. Again, our income tax happens to be one thing that has been somewhat regressive. Hutchinson's tax bill makes it somewhat less so. After we taped yesterday, I worked up a good head of steam about an appearance before the state pay commission by circuit judge from Mountain Home, Sean Womack, former Republican senator, who's begging for a big pay raise for judges. He even made the ludicrous suggestion that there might be a lawsuit on an equal protection basis if judges didn't get a big pay raise. You need to know that Sean Womack makes $140,000 a year for a job that's not particularly hard, and that ranks ninth in the country when factoring in pay and the cost of living in Arkansas, which is very low. Doesn't sound like somebody that needs a pay raise. If he wants a pay raise, maybe he ought to be a football coach. They're still raising the pay of Brett Bielema's football coaches up at Fayetteville. I mean, a 7-6 season. Don't you think we ought to pass out some more money? By the time they're done and fill some openings, it looks like they're going to be spending $4 million, about $400,000 or so on average each for 9 assistant coaches. Pretty good work if you can get it. Forward Arkansas is a group of a couple of big foundations in Arkansas, Rockefeller and Walton's, that want to improve education here. It's a laudable goal. Some of their ideas for doing it, particularly push toward charter schools, don't necessarily seem as good to me as they do to them. Nonetheless, they're surveying people on what they think about education in Arkansas and what should be done about it. They're inviting your participation. Go to forwardarkansas.org and take their survey. They'd like to hear what you have to say. Dennis Milligan, the state treasurer, announced his full staff today. It's full of familiar Republican political names, particularly from the Huckabee era. I was interested to see Ed Garner, a former state representative, is going to be on the staff. He's going to be helping oversee the state's $3 billion securities investment portfolio. Ed Garner made a lot of headlines during his last campaign for the number of times tax liens have been filed against him for failure to paying what was due on his business. Perhaps he'll manage the state's money better than he managed the state's money when he was a small businessman. Lloyd Warford, a former prosecutor, public defender, and well-known lawyer around town, is going to head the Medicaid Fraud Division for Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. We've been interested in that because nursing homes paid a big portion of the campaign finance bill for Leslie Rutledge. How tough that division continues to be will be a subject to some interest. Warford has a good reputation. Anti-abortion legislation started rolling out in the Arkansas legislature today, a bill to ban telemedicine, that is, doctors prescribing an abortion-inducing pill by television signal. It's not done here anyway. It's actually only done in one state, but they're going to pass all the anti-abortion bills they can just because they can, and just because they don't want women to have autonomy over their bodies. Also introduced today was legislation for the takeover of the state lottery. The bill was amended to put the new lottery division in the Department of Finance and Administration, not in higher education. Not much else to say today. I'm Max Brantley, and I'll be back tomorrow.